So every single day in the morning, I'm either on the back porch or in a chair in the house, and I have a certain routine that I go through. Every morning, I will read the NFL news, very important. I will read CBS Sports, and I will read Fox News. Sometimes Fox News 8, depending if I want to know anything local. And then I'll go to Facebook. I look at the marketplace, make sure there's nothing on there I want to buy. And once I'm done with that, I spend the next little while somewhere in the scriptures. It happens to be the last few weeks I went through Revelation, and now I'm going back through again. But every morning, you get to see, at least in the news, some kind of politics. Whether you're from the left or whether you're from the right, this political stuff just wears you out, you know? Having to do certain things, act certain ways so you can please certain people. I gotta tell you, I don't know how these people do it. Politics is exhausting. It really is. Because no matter how hard I try, I am just not gonna please everybody. You just can't do it. But that doesn't stop people from trying. But what's even more incredible to me is not in the folks who try so hard to be everything for everybody. What's incredible to me is the requirements people place on those people in the first place. So, as president or as a senator or as in some kind of representative, whatever, there are all of these requirements, things that you have to know, things that you have to be, and if you fail at any of those things, you are the worst president or worst senator or worst fill in the blank that has ever been graced to hold the office. But it isn't just in those kind of national politics that this kind of crap goes on. This goes on in the church too, to where you have folks who are held to a standard that they can't possibly live up under. But then you have those folks who are actually requiring those folks to live to a standard that they can't stand up under. And not only that, the folks that are requiring those standards, they can't live up to those either. What prompted this, you might ask? One of the verses that came to mind this morning as I was riding over here to the church, just Galatians 2:20 popped into my head. Galatians 2:20 says, I have been crucified with Christ, nevertheless I live. But it's not I who lives, it's Christ who lives in me. And this life that I live in the body, as you see me, I live by faith in the Son of God who loved me and gave himself for me. Now, I don't know how sobering that is to you. It's probably one of the more popular verses in the Bible for people to quote. I've been crucified with Christ. There's even a song. I've been crucified with Christ, nevertheless I live, yet not I. You know, if you ever went to camp at any point in your life, you've probably sung that song. So it's fun to sing. It's fun to recite. It evokes powerful images. But living it is a completely different story. If I have been crucified with Christ, it changes me in every way, shape, and form. If I have been crucified with Christ, and it is Christ who lives in me and not me who lives in me, then my life should look radically different. My life would be one where I am someone who doesn't require you to be somebody that you can't be. who doesn't require you to do things that make me happy. But you see, we have that going on in the church. We have folks who are more concerned with themselves than they are other people. But yet these same folks will recite Galatians 2:20, I have been crucified with Christ. Nevertheless, I live, but it's not I who live, it's Christ who lives in. Well, how on earth can you mend, blend, whatever adjective you want to use? How can you bring those things together? Reconcile? How about that one? How can you bring those things together? How can you say that you believe that love is patient and kind, doesn't envy, so on and so forth? How can you say those things, but yet require folks to live to a standard you can't live by? I don't understand that. Usually what is happening in these situations is you've got folks who have sin in their lives and it's unresolved. And the only way that they can make peace with unresolved sin is to focus on somebody else. If I spend all of my time zeroed in on you, I can't see the things that I'm lacking. Jesus actually said the same thing. He said, how can you take a speck out of your brother's eye when you've got a log in yours? You got to take a log out of yours before you can deal with the speck. It's the same kind of thing. So as we've come back together, we've hit a few hiccups. We've made a few people grumpy. But I have to ask you, why? Why the grumpiness? If you've been crucified with Christ, if you live a life of denying yourself and taking up your cross and following, what exactly do you have to be grumpy about? Now, please understand that this is every bit as much of a critique of me as it is of you. Just yesterday, Kason and I went to the chiropractor. I had my neck cracked for the first time in 15 years. I've always been terrified to do that. On the way back, Kason's listening to all this music, things from Amanda Cook, like City of Hope, and there's a song called Highlands from Hillsong. Actually sang that one in the assembly 2 weeks ago. So we're listening to this music and singing along, and there's this idiot behind me. He's tailgating me, and I can't go anywhere. And then finally, when I'm able to swerve over, he pulls up alongside me and he makes this face. And of course, me being crucified with Christ and denying myself and taking up my cross and so on, I didn't wave at him or give him the thumbs up. I was like, So I'm often as big of an idiot as anybody else. So I do get it. But there comes a point in time when I have to actively kill that part of me, that part of Scott that wants things to be Scott's way. And if it ain't Scott's way, I'm going to make all kinds of noise until it is. I'm going to have all kinds of opinions until somebody hears what I have to say. What I need to continue to learn is I don't have to say anything, because none of this is about me. I've been placed here for a specific reason. I don't always know what that reason is, but God does. And if this whole party is for him, and I've just been someone who's been invited to that party, I really don't get to have an opinion. I really don't get to have a vote, because this is his party. If I throw a party at my house, and you come to my house and you tell me that I should have my windows open because you don't like the fact that they're closed, well, I'd probably smile at you and quite possibly completely ignore you, because it's my house and you were simply invited. Well, I wonder if the same kind of thing can be said for what we're doing now. If this is God's thing, then what do I have to gripe about? What do I have to complain about? If I have this great mercy that's been showered on me, it would take a lot of nerve for me not to show that mercy to somebody else all the time. This isn't just periodic mercy. This is all the time mercy. The guy who's tailgating me and gives me a dirty look, you know what I could have done? Nothing. Well, there's a novel idea. That's right. Do nothing. Because in 10 seconds, his car is going to be by and I'll never have to see him again. What difference does it make? And besides that, that's not who I'm supposed to be. So when you come across stuff that either isn't the way you would do it or isn't the way you want it, ask yourself before you react, is my reaction going to be from somebody who's been crucified with Christ? Or is my reaction to whatever going to come from me? I hope you're tracking with me this morning. So where my head's at. We'll talk to you later.